Today we're going to learn about how to find the volume of rectangular and triangular prisms. First thing we're going to do here is look at our reference sheet. If you look on your reference sheet, find where it says rectangular prisms. It's going to be near the middle of the page, and the formula for volume. So volume, our first formula, we're given two on here. First one is length times width times height. Okay, the second one, you'll see a capital B with an H next to it. So the capital B stands for area of the base, and we want to multiply it times the height of the prism. Now we are primarily going to use this first formula right here, length times width times height, just to make it a little bit easier, but you can definitely use either one. Looking at the first example, we have a rectangular prism that has 3 different units of measurement on it. Now truly the order that we multiply numbers in does not matter, but here I'm going to show you how I usually differ between which one is the length, width, and height. So typically I will say that the length is the front edge of our prism, so that would be 3 inches here. That is our length. Okay, our width would be from front to back. So the width here will be 5 inches, and then the height is just from top to bottom, so 8 would be our height. So we're going to go ahead and plug that into our formula. We have V equals, in place of L, we're going to do 3 times W, which is 5, times 8 for the height. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, grab your calculator, and type this in. We're going to take 3 times 5 times 8. Okay, now that you've had a chance to try it in your calculator, hopefully, our answer is 120 inches, and we're going to put the 3 instead of the 2 here, and let's explain why. So we are looking at 3D figures. Okay, volume describes the space inside of a 3D figure, and we just multiplied 3 different numbers together. So that is why we have the 3 instead of a 2 for volume. So it is going to be 120 inches cubed. So 3 is cubed. Moving on to example number 2, the first thing we need to figure out here for our rectangular prism is, again, what is our length, what is our width, and what is our height. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write the formula here so that way we don't forget. Again, the length I describe as the front edge, so 11 here is going to be our length. Our width is from front to back, that would be 5. And the height is from top to bottom, so the height is going to be 6. So let's go ahead and plug those in. So L was 11, W was 5, and H was 6. Go ahead and pause the video here to multiply these together. We are taking 11 times 5 times 6. Now that you've had a chance to try that, your answer should be 330 centimeters cubed. Okay, again, make sure you're putting that label on there with the 3, not the 2. Moving on down to example number 3 for volume. This one I want you guys to go ahead and try yourself. I'll remind you of our formula here. It is V equals length times width times height. So go ahead and pause the video here. I want you to try this one from start to finish on your own. When you have your final answer, go ahead and hit play again, and we'll see if you did it correctly. All right, hopefully you had a chance to try this now. So what we should have done here, for our length, it was 6, for our width is 4, and our height was 5. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter which order you put them in, but that is how I would describe those. When you multiply them together, you get 120 centimeters cubed. All right, we're going to keep on moving on to volume of triangular prisms. So the formula, again, go ahead and look at your formula sheet. Very similar to a rectangular prism. It is 1/2 times length times width times height. Or again, we can also do B times H, where capital B stands for the area of the base. In this case, the base would be the triangular side of the prism. All right, so looking at example 1, again, we can use either formula. I'll show you the first formula with our length times width times height for this first example, and I'll show you with the capital B and H for the second example. So looking at this first example, again, we're going to have 1/2, and then it's length times width times height. So the length and width, just like if we were doing the area of a regular triangle, it would be base times height. So the length and width are going to be the 2 parts that form a right angle. So length here is going to be 15, and the width is going to be 8. For the height, that is from triangle side to triangle side. So our height would be 12. So we'll go ahead and plug those in. Again, we have 15 for our length, 8 for our width, and height is 12. So go ahead and pause the video. Let's plug these in. Remember, you can type in 0.5 instead of 1/2 or multiply them all together and then divide by 2. Go ahead and pause the video, try that, and let's see if you got the answer correct. Okay, once you've had a chance to plug that in, you should have gotten 720 centimeters cubed. Just like with rectangular prisms, again, we're finding volume here, so it is our units cubed. Moving on to example number 2, I'm going to show you how to use this formula with that capital B that stands for area of the base. So the base, again, for triangular prisms is the triangle itself. So if we go back and look at our formula for area of a triangle, it was 1/2 times base times height. So we're going to go ahead and do that part first here. So our base and our height are the two parts that make that right angle. There's no right angle necessarily listed here, but we can go ahead and add that. It would be there in between the 3 and the 4. So our base would be 4 and our height would be 3. So we can go ahead and calculate this part right here and take 1/2 times 4 times 3. All right, so again, go ahead and pause the video, try that, plug that into your calculator, 1/2 times 4 times 3. After you plug it into the calculator, you should get an answer of 6 here. So we're going to use that in place of our B here, and then we're still going to multiply it times the height. So we are going to take 6, this is our volume, 6 times the height. The height of our triangular prism, again, is from triangle side to triangle side, so it would be 11. So we're going to take 6 times 11 here. Again, go ahead and pause it. Think about that for a second if you need to. Our answer is 66 centimeters cubed. Now, again, you didn't necessarily have to use that formula. You could have gone back and done the 1/2 times length times width times height. If you would have done that, for length, we would have used 4. For width, we would have used 3. And for height, we would have used 11. Okay, so even when you do that, you can go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Try typing in those numbers instead into your calculator, but you are still going to get that answer of 66 centimeters cubed. So either way that you choose to use the formula is 100% okay. Just use whichever one makes the most sense for you.